Hey guys, happy Sunday morning. It's very gray, very rainy where I am. I hope where you are, it's beautiful, even if it's raining. Rain is beautiful, right? Gray skies are beautiful. You just have to embrace whatever comes in this life, right? So I woke up having my cup of tea and looking at all the headlines, and of course, Donald Trump dominates still, right? And I thought this guy is such a mess. He's such a mess. But I also thought, you know what? It's part of his charm. This is why, you guys, this man is so popular with people. I mean, he has always been a somewhat polarizing figure, but whether you love him or you hate him, one thing is undeniable is, yeah, he's a mess, but it's part of his strange appeal, from his chaotic tweets when he used to tweet to his off the cuff speeches. Trump thrives in disorder. I mean, chaos was a strategy in 2016. I mean, it was literally and is literally a strategy, right? Just create chaos and people start to pay attention, right? Um, and you can do that in many different ways, right? It doesn't even have to be just when you're the president of the United States. Just create total chaos. And it's a strategy, if used correctly, can get things done. For better or worse, Trump's unpredictability keeps everyone, supporters, critics, the press, global leaders, especially global leaders, on their toes. And they all try to imitate Trump because they see that, hey, what he does works. But the thing is, it doesn't really work for everybody. For some people, if you try to do what Trump does, it lands you in very bad places. So you have to have the right sort of magnetism, appeal, charisma, and fearlessness to pull it off. But let's face it, the man is a mess, right? And look, um, being a mess and being, a little bit off the cuff is a good thing because let's face it, polished politicians are boring. Increasingly, to find, after Trump, it's going to be very difficult for Americans to elect milk toast types of candidates going forward. Okay, there was Joe Biden after COVID because they got scared, right? But the minute that COVID was gone, they were back to their old antics. They want excitement. They want crazy. They want a little bit of a mess. Because guess what? Aren't we all a little bit of a mess ourselves? None of us is perfect. Why should we look to our political leaders for perfection and this pretense of happy marriages, happy home, happy this, happy that, never used a curse word? Actually, I don't even think Trump has ever used a curse word. I use many, many curse words. It's appalling. But most leaders don't use curse words, especially not in public. And maybe we don't really want them to. I certainly wouldn't want any of them to curse as much as I do. But, this whole polished, hyper polished, it's so boring, right? Trump lacks polish, I would say. I mean, on his children, especially the women, on the contrary, are very, very polished, as is his wife. But he lacks polish. I mean, he's just raw. He just, you take that tie and that suit off, and it's just, he just lacks polish, right? But this has carved out a niche for him in a weird kind of way. I mean, he's a guy who blurts out what others would only dare to think, especially people in politics. They're so politically correct. He's very politically incorrect, right? I mean, he says whatever he thinks. It's always with very questionable phrasing. It's very off-putting to a lot of people. It's very shocking, right? But for his base, this authenticity makes him relatable because they think exactly what Trump thinks. They are saying exactly what Trump is saying out loud. They have been saying behind closed doors because the system in the past has been such that if you say it out loud, you're going to be called a racist. You're going to be called a sexist. You're going to be called a misogynist. You're going to be called, um, you know, all kinds of ists. You're an ist, right? And so for most people, it was rude to say many of the things, but Trump made it okay to say these things, right? In his messy way, he made it okay. And so for his base, this authenticity makes him completely relatable. They see a fighter who breaks the mold of political decorum, choosing brashness over buttoned up sophistication, which is so fake. So many of these people are so very fake. If you really knew what they were thinking or even doing behind the scenes, it would be shocking. But nothing that Trump does behind the scenes will shock anybody because Trump does it right in front of your face. You see. And for many people, this is really, really refreshing. I mean, for others, it's a little bit exhausting. Let's be honest, scary. I didn't want Trump to be president again. I've said it countless times. But now that he's president, I find it every day that I wake up, maybe I get a little less terrified than the day before and a little more excited than the day before that. Like, okay, what is he actually going to do here? Because there's going to be a plethora of things to talk about on a daily basis, right? I mean, it's very entertaining. The messiness of this guy is highly entertaining. Love him or hate him, Trump is headline gold. And he said that countless times that he gets ratings. He gets ratings, and he really, really does. I don't know if he takes a pill to do it or what, but is he naturally like this, or does he wake up? Does he drink something? I don't know. But every press conference, every rally, every court appearance seems to generate a viral moment with this guy, right? His ability to dominate the news cycle isn't just a skill, it's truly an art, right? He's like a reality TV star who accidentally found himself in the Oval Office, and some people can't look away. I mean, globally, all over the world, people are just like gobsmacked by Donald Trump, right? I mean, it's like, how does this mess of a man become the president of the United States twice, right? Because the very thing that makes him a gobsmacking spectacle is the very thing that, endears him to people who support him and who love him and who would lay their lives down for him. But you know what? There is a very fine line between chaos and outright dysfunction, right? We have to be honest, right? I mean, chaos can get out of control and just become dysfunction, right? And so many of Donald's critics argue that his messy approach isn't just quirky, it's dangerous, right? Especially in global diplomacy or crisis management. His charm may win over some voters, like millions and millions and millions, but others worry about the long-term consequences of his recklessness. But let's be honest, I mean, when he was president, there were no global crises to speak of, really. I mean, he got on a plane and went to Singapore to meet the president of North Korea, where no other US president dared to do that. And guess what? Since that time, how much trouble has this guy in North Korea? I can't even remember this guy's name at this point because he's been so out of the news since Trump, right? So I think that, this sort of recklessness and this sort of, you know, chaoticness that Trump brings to it, this unpredictable, or I should say, this predictable unpredictability that he brings, right, keeps everybody in line, strangely enough, right? And so, as far as the long term consequences of his recklessness, I mean, maybe there are none. Maybe it's all going to be a net positive, right? I mean, we don't know. We have to wait and see. In the end, Trump's appeal, I think, lies in the very thing that makes him divisive. He's a whirlwind. He's a whirlwind. He's a whirlwind of contradictions, right? He's a Gemini, okay? He is a mess. Yes, he is a mess. But to his fans, he's their mess, you guys. And that, my friends, is why the Trump show keeps rolling and why it's going to continue to roll. It's going to keep us all on our toes. And I think it's just easier to just put on your seatbelt and buckle up and go along for the ride, because you can't do anything. He'll just do more and more outrageous things, more and more messy things, because it's just his character. But inside this person, there's another face as well. And we have never seen that in the public. Like, he is two people. He's a Gemini, there's a twin. And that person, could be even worse, but I doubt it. I think that person is the opposite of what the opposite of the mess is that organized person that he doesn't show to the world because he sees that as a weakness. But believe it or not, without that other side, his messiness would only be dysfunction and just a dangerous, fall into total hell, right? I mean, this man is one of the most successful businessmen in the United States, in New York, certainly. I mean, okay, he may not be Elon Musk, he may not be the richest man in the world, but he has amassed a considerable fortune. You don't do that when all you are is dangerous, right? There has to be some kind of balance in there, but he's not showing that to the public because he doesn't want us to see that. He wants us only to see his messy side, because that is the side that is most interesting and exciting and that keeps people on their toes, right? So, you guys, look, that's it for this one. I mean, he is a mess, but there's a method to the madness. See you in the next one. Take care. Bye. Subscribe and hit the notification bell if you want to get my updates, okay? And I do change the name of my YouTube channel often, so definitely hit the notification bell, okay? Bye.